Sit down straight, close the eyes gently, body totally relaxed from head to toe. Relax the toes, the sole, the heels, the legs, the knee joints, the thighs, the hips, the belly region, the thorax, and the whole of the spine, the back, especially the shoulder muscles, the arms, the neck, and the facial muscles where we keep all our stress. Relax all these and feel the relaxation at the brain level. Deep inhale and exhale. And while exhaling, we are going to chant the universal sound Om, the prime name of Ishvara God, and Gayatri Mantra in the form of bhajan. Then we'll move to the prayers for today. Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat तूने हमें उत्पन्न किया पालन कर रहा है तो तुझसे ही पाते प्राण हम दुखियों के कष्ट हरता है तो तेरा महान तेज है छाया हुआ सभी स्थान सृष्टि की वास्तु में तू हो रहा है विद्यमान तेरा ही धरते ध्यान हम मांगते तेरी दया ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. Join the palms together, rub them gently, and cover the eyes, opening the eyes slowly, gradually below the palms, and transferring the energy to the facial muscles. सभी को सादर नमस्ते, स्वागत है. Welcome and namaste to everybody for this satsang of today. Our gratitude to Ishvara God for having given us the day of today to meet for this satsang, the time, the knowledge, the resources that we have at our disposal to meet today. Now moving to Ishvara Stuti Prarthana Upasana, praise, prayer and worship. Atheshvara Stuti Prarthana Upasana Mantra. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasuva Yadbhadram Tanna Asuva Om Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya jatah patireikasit sadadhara prithivim dyamute mam kasmai devaya vishavidhema. Om ya atmada balada yasya vishwa upasate prashisham yasya deva yasya chayam ritam yasya mrityu tasmai devaya vishavidhema. Om yah pranato nimishato mahitvaika idra jagato babhuva ya ishe yasya dvipadashchatushpada kasmai devaya vishavidhema. Om ye nadyo rugra prithivi chadridha ye na swasta bhitam ye na naka yo antarikshe rajaso vimana kasmai devaya vishavidhema. Om prajapate natvadeta vishvajata niparita babhuva yatkamaste juhumastanno astu vayam syama patayorainam. Om sano bandhurjanita savidhata dhamani veda bhuvanani vishva yatra deva amrita manashanastritiye dhamanadhyairayanta. Om Agnena Yasupatharaye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vedwan Yuyodhyasmadjoranameno Puishtante Nama Uktim Vidhema. Iti Ishvara Stuti Prarthana Upasana Prakaranam. I'll deal with the brief of the explanations during the lecture because I'll be talking on Satsang today, so I don't want to overlap the subjects. Let's move directly for Agnihotra. We'll start by Atman. Please take water in the right palm. And free mantras there, so sipping of water 3 times, Take sufficient water when you sip that goes down the throat, so that clears the throat and enables proper mantra chanting. First Ajman. Om Amritopastaranamasi Swaha. Second. Om Amrita Pidhanamasi Swaha. Third. Om Satyam Yasha Shirmai Shri Shrayatam Swaha. Wash your hands. Then take water in the left palm, and we'll be touching various parts of the body, praying to Ishwar God that, hey Ishwar, आप हमारे आत्मा और आत्मा मन बुद्धि इंद्रियों को प्रेरित करें कि जिन इंद्रियों को हम स्पर्श करने जा रहे हैं वो हमारे सन्मार्ग सुपथ पर चलने के लिए हमारे सहायक बने. Praying to Ishwar God that our God drives our soul and the soul drives the mind, the intellect, and the intellect in turn guides all the body organs to engage in righteous actions on the path of righteousness. Remember, kriya, actions to be done at the end of the mantra. Om Vangmasyastu, Om Nasormi Pranostu, Om Akshanormi Chakshurastu, Om Karnayormi Shrotramastu, Om Bahormi Balamastu, Om Urvorma Ojustu, Om Arishtani Mangani Tanustanva Me Sahasanto. Lighting of the fire, we'll start with the lamp at the end of this short mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha. Then introducing the fire into the Havan Kun, if you have the Havan Kun, at the end of this next mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha. Dyoreva Bhumna Prithiviva Varamna Tasyaste Prithivi Deva Yajani Prishthe Agnimanna Damanna Dhyaya Dadhe. Next mantra is Agni Samindhan mantra. As the word says, Udbudhya Svagni. Get the fire blazing by pouring 2 free spoonfuls of ghee on the samidhas in the Havan Kun. Om Udbudhya Svagne Prateja Grihi Tvamishta Purte San Srije Thamayancha Asmin Sadhaste Adyutarasmin Vishve Deva Yajamanascha Sidata. Samidhadan. 3 pieces of samidha dipped into ghee. Pehle samidha, first samidha with this mantra when we say swaha. Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya swaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Dusri samidha, second samidha. We have 2 mantras here, and it will be on the second swaha that will be offering the second samidha. Om samidhagnim duvasyata griter vordayata tithim asmin havya juhotana swaha idam agne idam namama. Om susamidhaya shrotishe gritam tivram juhotana Agnaye jata vedase svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Tisri samidha, third samidha with this mantra. Om tantva samidbhirangiro gritena vardhayamasi brihachochaya vishtaya svaha. Idam agnengirase idam namama. Panchagrit ahuti, offering of ghee 5 times with one mantra. Main purpose is to get the fire blazing, because the mantra says tantwas, it says gritam tivram juhotana. So the ghee should be put on the tivra agni, blazing fire, especially when we are going to put samagri, because it's mixture of medicinal herbs, enabling the fire of the Havan Kund to do the processes of combustion to produce energy. Second, evaporation of the ghee as vapors, and sublimation, taking the essential oils in the medicinal herbs of the samagri, diffusing them directly as vapor, as gas form in the atmosphere. And remember, when we say the mantras, take a deep breath, then chant the mantras along with slow exhale. So we'll be doing our pranayam, getting those vapors of the ghee and the medicinal herbs into our lungs, into our bloodstream, boost our immunity. Panchagrit ahuti. Om ayantaidmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Jal sechanam, sprinkling of water around the Havan Kund. So first on the east side, Om Adite Numanyasva. Next on the western side, Om Anumate Numanyasva. Next on the north side, Om Saraswatyan Numanyasva. Now all around the Havan Kund, starting from northeast, moving clockwise, finishing towards to the northeast corner. Om Deva Savita Prasvayajyam Prasvayajya Patim Bhagaya Divyo Gandharva Ketapuke Tanna Punatu Vachaspatir Vachanna Swadatu. Ahutis of ghee, first on the north, then south, and then the next two in the center. North side. Om Agnaye Svaha. idam agnaye idam namama. South. Om somaya swaha. Idam somaya idam namama. Om prajapataye swaha. Idam prajapataye idam namama. Om indraya swaha. Idam indraya idam namama. These four mantras, being north, south, and center, are symbolical to our life also. Agnihotra usually performed in the household where husband and wife sit together, husband on the left side and the wife on the right-hand side of the husband facing the east. So the husband is seated on the northern side, representing energy, running to earn and sustain the family. The wife symbolizing one, management of the household, peace, tranquility, serenity. And in the center of them are the kids, the children, Prajapataye Swaha, and peacefully Somaya Swaha. So now let's move to the Dainik Ahuti, the Ahutis, daily Ahutis, first for the morning, Surya Jyoti, then for the afternoon, Agnira Jyoti. Om Suryo Jyotir Jyoti Surya Swaha. Om Suryo Varcho Jyotir Varcha Swaha. Om Jyoti Surya Om Jyoti Surya Suryo Jyoti Swaha. Om Sajur Devena Savitra Sajurusha Sendravatya Tushana Suryaveto Swaha. Mantras for the afternoon. Om Agnir Jyotir Jyotiragni Swaha. Om Agnir Varacho Jyotir Varacha Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Sajur Devena Savitra Sajuratrendраvatya Jushano Agnirveto Swaha. The next mantras, Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, Vyanaya Swaha, leads us to taking the long breath and exhaling during the mantra chanting. Pranaya Swaha, Vyanaya Swaha, and Apanaya Swaha, the three main life forces in the body. The first one, breathe in, breathe out. Second one, first and second one, breathe in and breathe out, inhale and exhale. And the third one is Vyan, the life force, which distributes energy and oxygen all throughout the body. So let's remind ourselves to take deep, long breath before the mantra chanting and carry the mantra chanting as far as possible in one single breath, regulating our breathing, synchronizing it with the mantra part. Om Bhuragnaye Pranaya Swaha. Idam Agnaye Pranaya Idam Namama. Om Bhurvaive Panaya Swaha. Idam Vaive Panaya Idam Namama. Om Swaradityaya Vyanaya Swaha. Idam Adityaya Vyanaya Idam Namama. Om Bhurvaswaragnivaivaditebhya Pranapanavyanabhya Swaha. Idam Agnivaivaditebhya Pranapanavyanabhya Idam Namama. Om Apo Jyotirasomritam Brahma Bhurvaswarom Swaha. Om Yam Vedam Devagana Pitarashchopasate Tayama Madhyamedhayagni Medhavinam Kuru Swaha. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasva Yadbhadram Tannasva Swa Om Agnena Yaspathara Yasman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyodhyasmadjuranameno Bhuishante Namoktim Vidhema Swa Om Bhurbhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo nah prachodayat Sva Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasva Yadbhadram Tannasva Sva. Some special mantras. First, praying for Medha Buddhi, the discriminating faculty of the mind, of the intellect. Om, both ghee and samagri. Om Sadasaspati Madbhutam Priyamindrasya Kamyam Sanim Medhamaya Sisham Sva. Om Yam Medham Devagana Pitarashchopasate Tayama Madhyamedhayagni Medhavinam Kuru Sva. Om Medham Me Varuno Dadatu Medhamagni Prajapati Medham Indrascha Vayushcha Medham Dhata Dadatu Me Sva. Now, prayers for universal peace. Om Shanno Devi Rabhishtaya Apo Bhavantu Pitaye Shanyorabhi Sravantu Nahasva. Om Shanno Mitra Shanvaruna Shanno Bhavatvariyama Shanna Indro Brihaspati Shanno Vishnu Rurukrama Sva. Om Drite Drinhama Mitrasya Ma Chakshusha Sarvani Bhutani Samikshantam Mitrasyaham Chakshusha Sarvani Bhutani Samikshe Mitrasya Chakshusha Samiksha Maheswa. So these mantras, Shanno Devi Rabhishtaya, we are praying to God that we be masters of both material and spiritual treasures. Abhisht is material treasures and Pita is spiritual treasures. And we're masters of that, we'll be able to use our resources judiciously to live in peace and harmony. Then Shanno Mitraha Shanvarunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama, recognizing Ishwar God as our Mitra, the closest, dearest friend that we have, that gives us the tap of encouragement when we are doing good things and put the brake by pulling us backwards when we plan negative or bad karma. Then Varuna, know Ishwar God as Varun, the omnipresent, and as Aryama, the all just. We are never going to escape the law of karma. Then the mantra says, Mitrasya Chakshusha Samiksha Mahi. Let's look at all living beings with a friendly eye. And we are celebrating today the day of biodiversity. So biodiversity means respecting all the living beings in this universe as well as our environment. Next mantra, it'll be the Shanti mantra. Om Dhyau Shantirantariksam Shanti Prithivi Shanti Rapa Shanti Roshadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shantir Vishwe Deva Shantir Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhi Svaha. This is the normal chanting. When I do the closing, I usually do it in the meditative form. So we are praying for Shanti from Antariksha, the space, from Dhyo, the luminous bodies, from Prithvi, the earth, from Apa, the waters, Ochadaya, and Vanaspataya, the medicinal plants, the seasonal crops and the vegetation, Vishwadeva from learned and elderly persons, Brahma from the whole universe, and we have a duty. To earn peace, we have to be peaceful to all these. Next mantra is for good health. Om Sumitriyana Paushadaya Santu Durmitriyastasmai Santu Yosman Dveshtiyam Chavayam Dvishmasva. This mantra says Apa Oshadaya. Remember water and all our food to be taken as Oshadhi, as medication. Otherwise, we'll be taking medication as food. So just be careful. Swasti mantra for universal welfare. Om Swasti na Indro Vridharshava Swasti na Pusha Vishveda Swasti nastaksharyo Arishtanemi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dadhatu Swa. For healthy long life. Om Tat Chakshurdeva hitam purastat chukramucharat pashyema sharadah shatam jivema sharadah shatam shinuyama sharadah shatam prabravama sharadah shatam adinasyama sharadah shatam bhuyascha sharadah shatat sva. For those celebrating the special days during this week or the coming week, Om Shatam Jiva Sharado Vardhamana Shatan Hemantan Shatamo Vasantan Shatamindragni Savita Brihaspati Shatayusha Vishemam Punardo Sva. This mantra says Hemantan Shatamo Vasantan. So know the traditional seasons. Make good, efficient use of the seasonal fruits and vegetables to stay in good health. We'll move now towards the closing prayers. Aryan is with us. Aryan? Gayatri Mantra and Trayambakam Yajamahe 3 times with Swaha. Just a bit loud so that everybody can listen to you, please.
Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tattaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya Swaha. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tattaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya Swaha. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tattviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandham Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmir Bandhanam Mrityurmukshyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe. What?
It should be Swaha at the end to give the Ahuti, please.
Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandham Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmir Bandhanam Mrityurmukshyamamritat. Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandham Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmir Bandhanam Mrityurmukshyamamritat. Swaha.
It's good. Now for Srishtakrita Ahuti, if you have prasad, that's fine. 1 Ahuti of ghee and prasad, otherwise only ghee. Om Yadasya Karmanotyaririsham Yadyanyunmihakaram Agnishta Shrishta Kridvidyat Sarvam Swishtam Suhutam Karotu Me Agnaye Shrishta Krite Suhutahute Sarvaprayashchita Hutinam Kamanam Samardetre Sarvana Kaman Samardhya Svaha. Idam Agnaye Shrishta Krite Idam Namama. Om Svaha. Idam Prajapataye Idam Namama. Ghee and samagri 3 times. ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णं स्वाहा। ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णं स्वाहा। ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णं स्वाहा। Everything down. Let's move now for Mahavam Devyagan, 3 mantras from the Samved, praying to Ishwar God. हे ईश्वर, हम सभी को grant over us with sukha, happiness, shanti, peace, samriddhi, prosperity. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Kayanashchitra bhuvaduti sada vridha sakha. Kayashachishtaya vrita. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Kastva satyo madanam manghishto matsdandhasa dridachidarujevasu. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Abhishona Sakhinam Avita Charitrenam Shatam Bhavasyutaye. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Yajya Prarthana.
पूजनीय कहो हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए। छोड़ देवे छल कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए। वेद की बोले ऋचाएं सत्य को धारण करें। हर्ष में हो मग्न सारे शोक सागर से तरे। अश्वमेधादिक रचाए यज्ञ पर उपकार को। धर्म मर्यादा चला कर लाभ दे संसार को। नित्य श्रद्धा भक्ति से यज्ञादि हम करते रहे। रोग पीड़ित विश्व के संताप सब हरते रहे। भावना मिट जाए मन से पाप अत्याचार की। कामनाएं पूर्ण होवे यज्ञ से नर नार की। लाभकारी हो हवन हर जीवधारी के लिए। वायु जल सर्वत्र हो शुभ गंध को धारण किए। स्वार्थ भाव मिटे हमारा प्रेम पथ विस्तार हो। इदं न ममता सार्थक प्रत्येक में व्यवहार हो। प्रेम रस में मग्न होकर वंदना हम कर रहे। नाथ करुणा रूप करुणा आपकी सब पर रहे। पूजनीय प्रभु हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए। छोड़ देवे छल कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए। प्रभु आत्मिक बल दीजिए।
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। सबका भला करो भगवान सब पर कृपा करो भगवान सब पर दया करो दयावान सबका सब विधि हो कल्याण। हे ईश सब सुखी हो कोई न हो दुखारी सब हो निरोग भगवन धन धान्य के भंडारी सब भातृ भाव देखें सन्मार्ग के पथिक हों दुखिया न कोई होवे सृष्टि में कांडधारी। हे नाथ सब सुखी हों कोई न हो दुखारी सब हो निरोग भगवन धन धान्य के भंडारी। त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्ते हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि।
Ashirvad, blessings. Join the palms together. Keep the eyes gently closed. Just know that the grace of Ishwara is always flowing within us and all around us. We need to make ourselves the appropriate recipient to receive that grace. If we stand like a strainer or colander, we'll never be able to retain the grace of Ishwara. So we need to become the appropriate recipient by throwing all the ills and evils of our life out of our life and fill in all the good beneficial things and be benevolent and compassionate to the whole world. Om Satya Santo Yajamanasya Kama Om Purna Santo Yajamanasya Kama Om Sapala Santo Yajamanasya Kama Satya Santo Yajamanasya Kama. May the wishes, the desires of the Yajman be truthful. Safala Santo, the truthful desires and wishes of the Yajman be complete, and Purna Santo be complete with 100% success. Om Swastina Indro Vridhashrava Swastina Pusha Vishvaveda Swastina Staksharyo Arishtanemi Swastino Brihaspatirdadatu ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्रा स्थिरैरङ्गैष्टोष्टवांसस्तनुर्भिर्व्यशेमहि देवहितं यदायु ॐ स्वस्ति 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 ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Grace, gratitude to Ishvara for the day He's given us today to participate in the Satsang, for the Jnana Vidyan, the knowledge of the Vedas and the physical sciences is given to us to enable us to live our life and participate in this Satsang. To our parents, to the gurus and to the rishis who transmitted to us the knowledge and the sanskar, and to all those who've indirectly contributed and participated in this yaj of today. Now time for bhajan. Volunteers, please. Just raise your hand and then unmute yourself and then start. Yes, Premji.
कोशिश करूंगी अपनी
Yes.
गलती को क्षमा करिएगा।
ना कोई बात नहीं।
राम सुमर के रहम करे ना, फिर कैसे सुख पाएगा। कृष्ण सुमिर के कर्म करे ना, यूं ही जग से जाएगा। ओ भगवान को भजने वाले, क्या भगवान को जाना है। पास पड़ोस दुखी दो दीनों में, क्या उसको पहचाना है। जब तक मेरी खुदी ना टूटे, खुदा नजर ना आएगा। राम सुमिर के रहम करे ना, फिर कैसे सुख पाएगा। ये संसार कर्म की खेती, जो बोए सो ही पाए। प्रेम प्यार से सींच ले जीवन, यह अवसर फिर ना आए। 4 दिनों का जीवन है ये, कब तक ठोकर खाएगा। राम सुमिर के रहम करे ना, फिर कैसे सुख पाएगा। अंतर तेरे अंतर्यामी, रोज तुझे समझाता है। भला बुरा क्या करना तुझको, राह तुझे दिखलाता है। मन की कही पर चलने वाले, फिर पीछे पछताएगा। राम सुमिर के रहम करे ना, फिर कैसे सुख पाएगा। शरण गए बिन जाप है निष्फल, निष्फल है जीवन तेरा। जन्म मरण को की फांस ना छूटे, रहे दुखों से नित घेरा। पाप गठरिया भारी हो गई, कैसे बोझ उठाएगा। राम सिमर के रहम करे ना, फिर कैसे सुख पाएगा। कृष्ण सुमिर के कर्म करे ना, यूं ही जग से जाएगा। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू प्रेम जी, माता जी, बहुत अच्छा रहा आपका भजन। I'm going to do Om Bol Meri Rasna. It's an old one, but we are going to do it today. ईश्वर हरिओम आचार्य जी। ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी, घड़ी घड़ी ओ पड़ी पड़ी, घड़ी घड़ी ओ पड़ी पड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी। सकल कामना त्यज ओम नाम भज, सकल कामना ओम नाम भज, मुख मंडल में पड़ी पड़ी, मुख मंडल में पड़ी पड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी। ओम सर्वोत्तम नाम प्रभु का, ओम सर्वोत्तम नाम प्रभु का, कहे वेद की कड़ी कड़ी, कहे वेद की कड़ी कड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी। सत्य उचड़ ले ओम सुमिर ले, सत्य उचड़ ले ओम सुमिर ले, समय न खोयूं पड़ी पड़ी, समय न खोयूं पड़ी पड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी। तन मन से धर ध्यान प्रभु का, तन मन से धर ध्यान प्रभु का, लगा ओम की लड़ी लड़ी, लगा ओम की लड़ी लड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी। मोह ममता तज आस लगाकर, मोह ममता तज आस लगाकर, लगा ओम की झड़ी झड़ी, लगा ओम की झड़ी झड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी। पल पल में ले जाना चाहती, पल पल में ले जाना चाहती, मौत सिरहाने खड़ी खड़ी, मौत सिरहाने खड़ी खड़ी, ओम बोल मेरी रचना घड़ी घड़ी, ओम
रसना घड़ी घड़ी।
पूरन ब्रह्म करेंगे पूरन,
पूरन ब्रह्म करेंगे पूरन।
सब आशाएं बड़ी बड़ी,
सब आशाएं बड़ी बड़ी। ओम बोल मेरी रसना घड़ी घड़ी। ओम बोल मेरी रसना घड़ी घड़ी।
धन्यवाद।
Alexa, 15 minutes timers for the bhajan.
Yeah, thank you for the bhajan. That's very sweet bhajan also. Just telling us to connect to Om and this bhajan. I remember we started singing that when probably in our teenage years. And there was Swami Devyanand who came to Mauritius from Bhillai. And he made that bhajan very famous in Mauritius. Next, please. For bhajan. Kamlesh ji.
नमस्ते। प्रभु हमें ज्ञान दो, भक्ति का दान दो, जीवन हमारा निर्विकार हो। हाँ प्रभु जी, प्रभु हमें ज्ञान दो, भक्ति का दान दो, जीवन हमारा निर्विकार हो। हाँ प्रभु जी, सुख से आयु सारे गुजारे, एक है ईश्वर सभी पुकारे। वेद हमारा धर्म है, सिखलाता शुभ कर्म है, इसी से हमारा पूरा प्यार हो। हाँ प्रभु जी, प्रभु हमें ज्ञान दो, भक्ति का दान दो, जीवन हमारा निर्विकार हो। हाँ प्रभु जी, बैर विरोध को दूर हटा दो, प्रेम की हर जगह गंगा बहा दो। होवे सब धर्मात्मा, हो पवित्र आत्मा, आर्य बनावे सब संसार को। हाँ प्रभु जी, प्रभु हमें ज्ञान दो, भक्ति का दान दो, जीवन हमारा निर्विकार हो। हाँ प्रभु जी, ईश्वर तुमसे हम वर पावे, देश के सारे कष्ट मिटावे। पूर्ण आशा कीजिए, शरण में अपनी लीजिए, इसी से हमारा बेड़ा पार हो। हाँ प्रभु जी, प्रभु हमें ज्ञान दो, भक्ति का दान दो, जीवन हमारा निर्विकार हो। हाँ प्रभु जी। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Kamlesh ji. Anybody else? Okay, then I'll leave it to Dhananjay ji, please.
Welcome everyone for our weekly satsang. Acharya ji has joined us from Mauritius. As everyone knows, he is there since last 1 year. He is not able to come back to US yet. Thank you, Prem ji, Jitin family, and Kamlesh ji for the beautiful bhajans today. Acharya ji will be delivering a lecture on importance of satsang today. We do satsang every Saturday, so we need to know what are the importance, why should we do the satsang. Over to Acharya ji.
Ranjaji, can you allow share screen, please? Because the PowerPoint will enable all to just be in tune and follow. Okay. Still didn't get it. Dhananjayji, take, yeah, the other one. Thank you. So, namaste and welcome everybody. Let's bring our mind to focus. Sit down straight, close the eyes gently. We'll do Om Jap 3 times. Slowly, gently open the eyes, keeping the focus. Sabhi ko sadar namaste and welcome to the satsang of today. So the importance of satsang. Just remember, satsang is a conjunct word, sat sang. Refers to gathering together for truth or simply being with truth. Sat means truth, jiski satta hai, that is what is real, what exists. Satsang, generally we meet as a congregation, Sat Purushon ka Sang, meeting with truthful persons to deepen our knowledge on religious and spiritual matters. That's very important. Satsang doesn't pertain only to religious matters, but the highlight should be more on spiritual matters, which enables us to connect to ourselves and to the whole world as humane human beings. Emphasize on humane human beings. Because we all believe that we are born human beings and we should be human. Yes, we are human as species. But growing within a family, we inherit the sanskar, the imprints of the behavior of our parents, and what they guide us to do, of our gurus, our teachers. And also when we go to satsang congregational meetings. I don't say only religious, because when we say religious, it's stick to prayers, but spiritual discourses, which are very essential because it enables us to connect to spirituality as spiritual reality in life. This is where we emphasize on the human values, the life values. That's why we say a spiritual discourse, an encounter with truth, with the realities, how to be truly humane in life. Satsang also is the opportunity for us for Shanka Samadhan, where we may address questions for enlightenment. Unfortunately, in Arya Samaj, when we open the floor to questions for self-enlightenment, it tends to shift to arguments. जब पूरे आदर मान सम्मान के साथ वक्ता से हम जिज्ञासु की तरह शंका समाधान करते हैं, तो जो हमें ज्ञान प्राप्त होता है वो हमारे कल्याण के लिए होता है. So in all humility, when we put questions to the speaker, in the sense that we are seeking self-enlightenment, then we benefit from the knowledge. And if we do otherwise, we put questions to challenge, then ईश्वर भी साथ छोड़ देता है. God cannot do anything, cannot help us when we don't help ourselves. So remember satsang. By going to satsang, it's a learning curve in our life to recognize our true nature as conscious beings with a mind where we pray dhyoyo naha prachodayat, for the enlightened mind to be able to make the difference between truth and untruth, between ignorance and darkness, and move on with the light of knowledge towards moksha mukti on the path of dharma, righteous living, artha, righteous earnings, kama, righteous enjoyment, and ultimately be in the eternal bliss of Ishwar God in mukti, moksha. Remember, when we are in satsang, we recognize our true nature as conscious beings with a mind faculty to gauge between truth and untruth. Satya ki satta ko hum pehchan le. Nothing in this
Is Acharyaji frozen for everybody?
Yes, we cannot hear Acharyaji. Probably I might have to join again. We'll wait for a second.
Yeah.
we can recognize our pure self by listening to the inner voice within us, going on that guidance.
Acharyaji?
Yes?
We had actually lost you. Your internet dropped, I think, for a little bit, and we didn't hear some of the previous slides.
No, I'm continuing on the same because I also noticed I was off. So I'm continuing on the same slide. So when we know our true self, we recognize that we are a pure soul, and will still be a pure soul as long as we listen to the divine guidance, the inner voice within us. We are complete and unchanging because whatever be the external pleasures, good food, enjoying life, these don't go to the soul. It goes only to the body. What goes to the soul is what we benefit from satsang, the spiritual progress. And knowing that is empowering. So join satsang to discover your own potential, your own power. And when we join in satsang, remember, it's 1 + 1 makes 2, right? But when we read it like that, one by the side of one, it makes 11. That is the synergy, the multiplying factor when we join in satsang. And during satsang, we usually meet for yajna. Yajna has 3 elements. The yajna that we are supposed to do have 3 elements: Dev Puja, Dan, and Sangatikaran. Dev Puja is the part, worshipping part. And the worshipping part consists of mantras where we do stuti, prarthana, and upasana. Stuti is praising God, the virtues, the qualities of God, because when we praise virtues, we absorb them in our life, and then we become virtuous in turn. And remember, when we do mantra chanting, as far as possible, let's learn one mantra, probably one in a month. If we read the mantra with the meaning once daily, keep one mantra for a month. At the end of the 1 month, we'll be able to capture the essence of the mantra. And let's start with Gayatri Mantra. And especially Gayatri Mantra, use that for jap and don't rush. Pay focus to each and every word, and pay focus on your own pronunciation and the vibrations coming back during the pronunciation. We'll be able to feel the inner peace, start benefiting from day one, instant benefit. And mantras have 3 components: stuti, prarthana, and upasana. Stuti, I've said, praising the virtues, will become virtuous. Then prarthana, prayers to be done after putting all the efforts, physical and mental. And then upasana, communion, meditation, realizing that we are souls within the body. Our ultimate goal is to reach moksha and mukti. And there's only one way to that: righteous living, righteous earnings, and righteous enjoyment. Dharma, artha, kama. Ultimately will reach moksha. So that is the puja part. Stuti, prarthana, and upasana. And remember, mantras are not only for saying swaha. There are so many lessons, so many things to learn out of mantras, like righteous living, righteous earnings, righteous behavior towards our environment, living a stable life, building relationships, bonding within the family. Last week I talked about bonding within the family. It was the International Family Day, Mother's Day, and all these conjoined. So we talked about that. And remember, the first mantra says, Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasva Yad Bhadrantannasva. We are praying to God to empower us to remove all our ills and evils. The work is ours. God only guides us. Antaryami. Andar se niyaman karta hai. Is guiding us through the inner voice. We have to follow that. Then we say, Vayam Syama Patayorainam. Let's be masters of spiritual and material treasures. And to be real masters of that, we have to follow the path of the 4 Purusharth, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. No other way out of it. Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayanaya. Then also in the mantras we are praying, Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vedwan. We always and at all times, at all places, be in the company of learned and elderly persons to benefit from their life knowledge and life experiences. And in Sandhya we read that mantra, Shanno Devi Rabhishtaya Apu Bhavantu Pitaye. Abhisht and Pitaye. We be in the company of saintly people to be able to be masters of Abhisht, material worldly treasures, and Piti, spiritual treasures. Then let's look at Dan, generosity. Giving in the Vedic Hindu philosophy is well defined in the Taittiriya Upanishad, taken by Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati in both the Satyar Prakash and the Vedaram Sanskara in the Sanskara Vedha. It says, Shraddhaya Deyam Ashraddhaya Deyam, Shriya Deyam Hriya Deyam, Bhiya Deyam Sanvida Deyam. 6 short sentences. What does that mean? Shraddhaya Deyam, give in faith. Ashraddhaya Deyam, give even when you don't feel like giving, but the cause merits our generosity. Give with awe, give with modesty or through shame. Give with awe, because when you have plenty, you can give plenty. But when you have little, you can give the little. But then you may feel shy because you are giving such a small amount to a big cause. Nevertheless, it's, as we say, drops and drops which join together to make the ocean. Give through fear, because what others would think if we don't give. And give simply to keep our vows, our promise. That is, Shraddha se dena, Ashraddha se dena, Shobha se dena, Lajja se dena, Bhai se dena, Pratijya se dena. So these things we learn only when we do Swadhyay or we are sitting in Satsang. Swadhyay, self-learning, and that also we learn the techniques of Swadhyay when we sit in Satsang. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, and Sakshatkar. Shravan is about listening, reading with attention. Manan is contemplation, reflection over what we've read, what we've listened. Nididhyasan is putting the questions for and against, like in a debate. And then Sakshatkar, after putting the questions, will realize the truth out of what we've read or what we've listened. This is the process of Swadhyay. And that also we learn only when we do Swadhyay of the Arsha Granthas, Upanishad, Darshan, Shastra, Vedas, etc. Else, we'll read the Satyar Prakash, the Sanskar Vidhi, and a very small good book, which is there. This is the Vyavahara Bhanu. So we see the importance of satsang. And I remember as a kid, we had one book which we were reading in the Vaidkas. It was the Vedic Bal Shiksha. There was one famous line there. Satsang se labh, kusang se hani. Whatever be the circumstances, satsang will always be beneficial to us. And kusang, the opposite of that, the company of bad people, will always give us bad things. And we'll be the losers there. So let's grasp this line. Satsang se labh, kusang se hani. The company of truthful persons will lead us to progress, and the company of bad persons will lead to our downfall. Then there's the third component. We've looked at puja, dan. Now let's look at the third component, Sangatikaran. Sangatikaran is a learning curve where if we have a scholar in our midst, he will share the knowledge of the Vedas and the Arsha Granthas. Otherwise, when we don't have scholars, what happens is that learned and elderly persons share their knowledge and their life experiences. And through both of these processes, we learn the practical applications of the spiritual sciences in daily life. We become more and more humane. in the sense of the Vedic teachings, Manur Bhava Devyam Janam. And after that, the next step will be able to realize Krinvanto Vishwamaryam, will make the world noble, because by spreading noble thoughts, noble words, and noble actions, will also empower people within our environment, and by extension in the whole world, to be noble in their thoughts, in their words, and in their deeds. Manasa vacha karmana, o gun karma swabhav. Satsang is a congregation. And regularly attending satsang has the benefit. It's not a one-off transaction. It's a question that we have to be regular. As far as possible, Maharishi Dayananda has put it, let's join at least once in a month, once in 4 weeks, because what happens is that practice makes perfect. And the more perfect we are in our practice, the more perfect we'll become. The Yoga Sutra says, Maharishi Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Sa to dirkale nairantara satkara sevito drer bhumi. So Maharishi Patanjali says, constant, regular practice over long time, dirkal, nairantar, regular, constant. Then satkara asevito, with lots of love and passion, dedication. What happens? Drir bhumi, like will reach firm grounds. The reference is the droplet of water from a tap falling on a stone. The first year will see nothing, but on the second year we'll start seeing a small hole on the stone. And probably in 20, 30 years' time, it has already pierced the stone to make a really visible hole. That is what perfect practice makes us perfect. And when we go to satsang, what happens? There was one gentleman whom we used to listen to because he stayed in Mauritius, I think, for about 4 or 5 years. Acharya Vedpal. He was saying, referring to one thing. One person who was selling oranges on the street, he was shouting, "Oh Santare, oh Santare." That is making people that he was selling Santare, oranges and mandarins. But for people who were used to satsang, what word did they listen? Om Sang Tare. And we had all the bhajans of today's going in the same line. Om Sang Tare. That is when we are in the satsang, we are growing to cross the path of life. And then ultimately, that becomes easy for us to attain the ultimate goal of human life. And there's a bhajan which is very famous, which says, I'll just take 2 free lines from 2 free different bhajans. One says, Sharan Prabhu ki avore, yehi samay hai pyare. Sharan Prabhu ki avore, yehi samay hai pyare. आओ प्रभु गुण गाओ रे, यही समय है प्यारे. उदय हुआ ओम नाम का भानु, उदय हुआ ओम नाम का भानु, आओ दर्शन पावो रे, यही समय है प्यारे. अमृत झरना झरता इससे, अमृत झरना झरता इससे पीकर अमर हो जाओ रे, यही समय है प्यारे. So it says the water is flowing down the waterfall. If you don't come to that point of water, to that source of water, you won't be able to get the water to drink. It's not the water that comes to you. We have to go to the tap or to the water source to get the water. And to get the spiritual knowledge, it says, let's go to satsang. Then there is other bhajan which says, Bela amrit gaya alasi soraha ban bhaga, साथी सारे जगे तू न जागा, बेला अमृत गया आलसी सो रहा बन भागा, साथी सारे जगे तू न जागा. So it says the creeper is just progressing on its path, and the nectar is flowing. But if we don't reach there, we won't get anything. And everybody is moving towards this direction. If we continue to sleep, we'll get nothing at the end of the day. Then it says, Karma uttam the naratan jo paya, आलसी बन के हीरा गवाया. So when we go to satsang, we learn about improving ourselves. Karma uttam karne ke liye. Otherwise, if we continue to sleep, then we'll be alasi ban ke hira gavaya. We've lost all the golden opportunities of our life. Then it says, हंस का रूप था गदला पानी पिया बन के कागा. Hans, the beautiful swan. But then it always goes into clear water, not in muddy waters. So let's be like the swan, looking for clear waters and not get muddled in muddy waters. Then the next one says, अब सौंप दिया इस जीवन का सब भार तुम्हारे हाथों में है, जीत तुम्हारे हाथों में है, हार तुम्हारे हाथों में. So we acknowledge Ishwar God as the Antaryami, the divine guide. And if we follow that guidance, then we'll be realizing Jeet Hamare Haathon mein. Otherwise, if we don't realize that, then it will be only Har Hamare Haathon mein. And then there is another line in what we know as the Aarti Bhajan. जो ध्यावे फल पावे, दुख विनसे मन का, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कष्ट मिटे तन का. So it says, जो ध्यावे फल पावे, he who puts the effort will get the fruits. Then we'll move out of pains and sufferings. As we say, the goal of human life is दुखों से छूटना और सुख की प्राप्ति. When we say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti is what we are praying for. O Ishwar God, grant us peace at this physical level, spiritual level, cosmic level. Adidevik अधिभौतिक and adhyatmic दुखों से छूटना, to be in moksha, mukti, the eternal bliss, the eternal sukh of Ishvara. So just remember, even the lines of the bhajan, if we manage to understand what we are chanting, we grasp them and implement them in our lives, we'll realize the importance of satsang, and the more we attend, the more, as I said, perfect practice will brings us to be perfect in life. I just hope I've been able to cover a brief of the importance of satsang in our life. And I'll end with one part of the last sukta of the Rig Veda, which is known as the Sangathan Sukta. Sangachadhvam sambadadhvam sanvo manansi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve sanjanana upasate. And the poet has written it in Hindi. Prem se milkar chalo, bolo sabhi jyani bano, पूर्वजों की भांति तुम कर्तव्य के मानी बनो. So that reminds us to be in harmony, in accord with ourselves, with all around us, and be in accord in our thoughts, in our speech, and in our actions. पूर्वजों की भांति तुम कर्तव्य के मानी बनो. Just remember, our parents, our elderlies were less educated than we are. But then they did better in life because they were always attached, linked to spirituality as spiritual reality in life. अपने आप को कहते हैं हम सब ऋषि संतान है. We are all descendants of sages and seers. So let's prove ourselves to be the due descendants of sages and seers by regularly attending satsang, benefit from satsang, and share whatever be our life experiences and knowledge, empower others to avoid the mistakes, the pitfalls, the errors and omissions that we did in our life, as well as give them the extra mileage, the extra footing on which where to they can start, because they learn also from the good things that we've done, and they don't start from scratch. They start from a platform. Thank you everybody. ध्यान के लिए धन्यवाद. सभी को सादर नमस्ते. Dhananjay, please.
We'll proceed with the Aarti now.
Om Jai Jagdish Hare, Swami Jai Jagdish Hare, भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट, क्षण में दूर करे. ओम जय जगदीश हरे. जो ध्यावे फल पावे, दुख बिन से मन का. स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का. सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कष्ट मिटे तन का. ओम जय जगदीश हरे. मात पिता तुम मेरे, शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी, स्वामी शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी, तुम बिन और न दूजा, प्रभु बिन और न दूजा, आस करूँ मैं जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा, तुम अंतर्यामी, स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी, पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम करुणा के सागर, तुम पालन करता, स्वामी तुम पालन करता। मैं मूरख कलगामी, कृपा करो भरता। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम हो एक अगोचर, सबके प्राणपति, स्वामी सबके प्राणपति। किसी विधि मिलूं दया मैं, किसी विधि मिलूं दया मैं, तुमको मैं कुमति। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। दीन बंधु दुख हरता, तुम ठाकुर मेरे, स्वामी तुम ठाकुर मेरे। अपने हाथ उठाओ, अपने हाथ उठाओ, द्वार पड़ा मैं तेरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा, स्वामी पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, संतन की सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तन मन धन सब कुछ है तेरा, प्रभु सब कुछ है तेरा। तेरा तुझको अर्पण, तेरा तुझको अर्पण, क्या लागे मेरा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
Moving towards closing now. 4 lines of Ashirvad. भगवान इस परिवार को सुख का सदा वरदान दो, ज्ञान की गंगा बहाकर शुद्ध वैदिक ज्ञान दो। निरोग होकर सब जिए शतवर्ष आयुष्मान हो, धन धान्य से पूरित सदा यश युक्त कीर्तिमान हो। पुत्र पौत्रादिक सभी बलवान हो, श्रीमान हो, विद्वान हो, मतिमान हो, धर्मात्मा धीमान हो। शांति पाठ, prayers for universal peace in the yogic meditative form, joining each word with the respective shanti, and be aware that to get peace from each and every elements of this universe, we have to be peaceful to each of these elements. Om Dyo Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apah Shanti Oshadhayah Shanti Vanaspatayah Shanti Vishvedeva Shanti Brahma Shanti, Sarvam Shanti, Shantireva Shanti, Sama Shantiredhi. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Dhananjay.
O God, by your grace, may the celestial regions be peaceful, the space be peaceful, the earth be peaceful, the waters be peaceful, the seasonal crops and meditational plants be peaceful, the perennial plants and vegetation be peaceful, the learned and elderly be conducive to peace and prosperity. May the Supreme Creator, reliever of pain and affections, bring us peace. May the universe be peace. May peace be peaceful. May that peace be with us. May there be cosmic, physical, and spiritual peace. May we be free from adhyatmic, adibhautik, adidavic dukh. Om अन्नपते अन्नस्य नो देहनमी वश्य सुष्मिणः प्रप्रदातारं तारिष ऊर्जं नो देहि विपदे चतुष्पदे. हे अन्न के स्वामिन प्रभु, आप हमें अन्न दीजिए जो रोग रहित और पुष्टिकारक हो। आप अन्नदाता का कल्याण करिए। दो पाए मनुष्यों और चौपाए पशुओं आदि में तेज धारण करिए। ओ अन्नदाता ईश्वर, giver of food, kindly provide us with healthy and energy producing food. Grant serenity to those who give food in charity. May all living beings be blessed with energy giving food. जो बोले सो अभय।
वैदिक धर्म की जय।
मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम श्री रामचंद्र जी की
जय।
योगेश्वर श्री कृष्णचंद्र महाराज की
जय।
गुरु स्वामी बिरजानंद जी की
जय।
महर्षि स्वामी दयानंद सरस्वती की
जय।
संसार के सभी श्रेष्ठ महापुरुषों की
जय।
संसार की सभी विदुषी देवियों की
जय।
आज के यजमान की
जय।
आर्य समाज
अमर रहे,
वेद की ज्योति
जलती रहे।
वैदिक ध्वनि
ओम। वैदिक अभिवादन सभी को सादर नमस्ते। नमस्ते जी। So just remember, you can join us on Facebook to view our previous programs on YouTube, Hindu Center of Atlanta. You can also write to us, message on Facebook Messenger or on Gmail, Hindu Center of Atlanta @gmail.com. Otherwise, you may join me on WhatsApp, 770-666-3435. Thank you. We'll just leave the floor open for 2-4 minutes so that we can share, give our feedback, or give our opinions. So just put in your camera and then switch on your mic, and then you can share your feedback and your opinions.
Namaste everyone. If somebody wants to say a few words, they can unmute their mic and we can share our thoughts, and after that we will end this program. Just for a reminder, we have a program, the Sanatana Dharma Simplified every Friday evening 9 p.m. Eastern Time for the kids and young youth. On every Saturday 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time Satsang, and on Sunday spiritual learning for adults at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you all to join on those programs. And, we will end this session here today. See you at our next.